Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Noob Repair. Now you may be saying to yourself, wait a minute, he's outside, what's going on here? Well, today we're doing something a little different. Today I'm going to be painting a Super Nintendo controller and applying an overlay onto it. Yep, here we go, standard Super Nintendo controller. Now, I'm gonna go over all the details for how to do this, what you're gonna need to do it, and give you a little bit of pointers. So, to be honest with you, I'm doing this for the very first time. I've gotten some tips from my buddy Russ Lyman. So, if you want more DIY stuff, head on over to his channel, link down below. But let's get started. So the first thing you're gonna need is a Super Nintendo controller. The one I have here is an original model, and it's a bit beat up. It's you know, I didn't buy this specifically for this video. As you can see, it's got some discoloration. It's in pretty rough shape. So what we're gonna do is we're going to take this apart. And the way that we do that is we use one of these tri-wing little screwdrivers. You can get these on Amazon. You can get them pretty much anywhere. Doesn't cost you more than like 10 bucks. So this is a 4-pack, all different sizes. You're gonna need these if you're working on pretty much anything Nintendo, like Game Boy Advance games, etc., all sorts of different stuff. Now, it's slightly different from security bits. Security bits are slightly different. They open different things. They open different games. But these specifically, Game Boy Advance, maybe not Game Boy Advance, and you know, controllers like this. So on the back of the controller, if you look really carefully, you might not be able to see it, but there are tiny tri-wing screwdrivers. Now, what you're also gonna need for this is you're gonna need some sandpaper. You're gonna need 600 grade sandpaper. The goal to do this is to first open this bad boy up, take all the circuitry out, and then you're gonna wash all the buttons, you're gonna wash all of the anything that's not circuitry, basically. You're gonna wash the plastic casing on the front and the back and the inside and everything, get it nice and clean. Then what you're gonna do is you're gonna take this sandpaper, and we'll get to that step in just a bit. So let's go ahead and give it a start. All right, so the first thing we're gonna do is get our tri-ace screwdriver out. I tend to notice that the ones that work the best are the tri-wing screwdrivers that have a flat bottom. And as you can see, we get our first screw out. Yay! All right, let's move on to the next one. Now, a lot of people tend to have a problem with modding original manufacturer's equipment. My thing is that if I'm modding something that I own, that I'm gonna be using, it's mine to use. So I can do whatever I want with it. Now, if you're doing it to sell, that's not cool. But if I own this and I wanna mod it, I don't see a problem with that. That's just my 2 cents. Now, some of these screws might be stripped, truth be told. I'm hoping that that's not the case. But these two in particular are really taking a while to come out. Sometimes if you like open it up just a little bit, just to kind of jostle it, it'll loosen the screw to the point where you can get it out. Yeah, this one's, it's coming. Bingo, got it. Oh, what a pain. Let's take a look at this controller. Obviously these R buttons right here, R and L buttons, are in rough shape. Here's the inside of the controller. Here's another loose piece. All right, now you can see that the wire's wrapped around. So we're just gonna unplug it, gently take it off, and let's see the condition on this. Ooh, yeah. Oh yeah, look at that. You can see there's like something like soda or something all over this right here. Yeah, it's in bad shape. So we're gonna try to clean this up. We'll try to get it all spick and span. Let's take a look at the plastics here for the buttons. Oh yeah, those are in rough shape. My dog's barking, so I'm gonna go let him in. Well, I'll be right back. The inside of the controller, really grody. Here's the D-pad. Again, really, really grody. Here's the buttons. Now, I'm not going to be changing the color of the buttons. It's going to fit with my color scheme, but we are going to wash the crap out of these. So, to wash this, you can do it a few different ways if you want, but ultimately what you're going to do is get something like either a toothbrush or a toothbrush that you're not using to get all the grooves. You could use a Q-tip. There's a lot of different options that you have, but in order to get all the grime out, definitely want to use something slightly non-abrasive. I am going to just go over everything with a basic sponge that you would find, normal. For the soap, I'm just using like a non-abrasive Dawn. Just something to really get the grime off. You want these controllers to be as clean as possible, because when you paint, I'm gonna flip it just to get some of there's like something stuck on this controller on the back of it. Try using like a toothpick or something. But yeah, this is what we're doing. Scrubbing it nice and clean. There's something stuck to the back of this. I just got it off. You want to get in the inside grooves here really good. Again, you may need something like a toothpick or just something to kind of jostle it loose that's not going to do too much damage to it. But yeah, you want to get all along the grooves of where the controller meets the other half of the controller, because that obviously has a ton of gunk on there. That already looks like night and day better. Nice and clean. Here's the front of the controller. This has a ton of gunk in it. So again, just going to use our sponge and just clean it real good. And this one I'm definitely going to need like a Q-tip or something, maybe some rubbing alcohol. Something to get the dirt off of this 30-plus-year-old controller. Now you're not going to be able to get the discoloration out. That you would need, I think it's called a retro bright in order to do that, but it doesn't really matter because we're painting this bad boy. All right. Front looks pretty good. And go over the insides of the holes where the buttons are. It actually looks pretty good. There's a couple spots which I want to get at with like a toothpick. So either a toothpick or a Q-tip you can use. I'm going to be using a toothpick initially just to see if this is something that's going to need to be scrubbed or something that I can just pick off. Yeah, we're going to try to use a Q-tip now with some isopropyl alcohol. So I am apparently out of isopropyl alcohol. So we are going to use soap with a Q-tip and just go around all the little nooks and crannies just to really clean them up. You're going to start to see the Q-tip turn dirty. Just rocking it back and forth against the openings for the controller. Pretty grimy. Do the front now. You gotta think about it like this. This is where your fingers go. Your dirty, dirty fingers all the time. So it makes sense that this is the dirtiest part. There's this spot right here. I don't think I can get that spot. I think it's just normal wear and tear from the pads. Next, we're going to tackle the L and R buttons. And again, for this, I am going to use a Q-tip just because the area is just so small. It doesn't make sense to do a giant sponge on it. You can kind of really attack it with the Q-tip. That looks pretty good. Looks a lot cleaner than before. Next we're going to do the buttons. Again, going at it with a Q-tip. I might, because this is harder plastic, I might go at it with the sponge instead. But I am getting a decent amount of grime off with just the Q-tip initially. These areas right here on the corners are so hard to clean. I get them with my fingernail just to get whatever's on there off and then just scrub it afterwards with the sponge. That looks so much better. Next we're going to do this. I'm just going to give this a light coating of soap and brush it really gently. And then I'm going to go at it with the Q-tip. Looks like with this, there's some unfortunate discoloration, even after cleaning it, that I can't remove. Looks like I got most of it off on the front here, where the pads hit the buttons, but yeah, there's some slight discoloration right there. Not much you could do about that. This one's in pretty good shape overall. I am going to go over it really gently, just so I don't make sure I damage anything. But this one's overall in pretty good shape. Let's try to see if we can clean it up a little bit with a Q-tip. Got some slight markings. Next we have the start and select button. The rubber around the buttons is really flimsy. Look at how much gunk is on this. Ugh. All the years of Cheetos and Doritos and soda and whatever else whoever had this last. Last, we're going to do the buttons. These are super grimy. First, I'm just going to push them into the sponge just to get the soap covered in them. Make sure you have like a sink stopper or a drain stopper, because otherwise you could lose these. These already look so much better. Look at that, like night and day difference. They look so much cleaner. So much cleaner. Here comes the next step. Now, normally what I'd say is dry them off as soon as possible. Don't let them sit, because then they can get like water stains on them. You could also use, if you're really careful, one of these. You don't want to melt the plastic. So just going over it really lightly and then wiping it down with like a towel is probably recommended. I would not use this for a very long time if you are going to go this route, if you're trying to get them as clean as possible, as fast as possible. Also have a plastic bag handy for the parts that you're going to be discarding temporarily. You're going to be putting these to the side. I'm going to do these buttons one at a time. All right. I just finished drying everything off. Now, one other tip I wanted to give real quick. When you're drying off, use a really low setting for the heat. You want to use like basically cold or no setting. That way you're not damaging or possibly melting the plastic. So as you can see, everything's nice and clean. What you can do, because there may be a little bit of stuff left, you could use a Q-tip real quick and just dry the insides, because those are harder to get. Around the little spots here, around all the little nook and crannies and everything. And once you get everything nice and dry, you're good to move on to the next phase. You want to just double check that you have all the parts, put them in a plastic bag, and then let's get sanding. All right, so next step, we're gonna sand the outside of the controller. And ultimately this is just to make it so that the paint, the spray paint, will actually stick. So what you can do is just fold one of these up. These are really cheap. You can get them in any like hardware store, but they are 600. And then you just rip. I grabbed 2. I don't think I'll need more than that. Truth be told, I may not even need to use 1. So you're gonna take the abrasive side and start sanding the controller. You're sanding every part of it. I can smell the plastic. Probably not good to breathe in. 30-year-old plastic. That looks pretty good. Hold on, let's do, honestly, we didn't need the second page. Make sure you get around the edges there. That feels pretty good. It's not supposed to be like really abrasive. It's just supposed to smooth things out so that the paint will stick. You can really feel the difference already. I'm gonna go a little bit extra right in the center of the back. Nothing too crazy. Let's get a fresh sheet and we'll do the front. Now, I'm not that worried about the front of it as far as getting it not, like, I don't want to go too crazy on it as far as the paint goes, because not only am I painting this whole controller, but I'm also putting a piece of like a layout on this, a Super Castlevania IV layout. So yeah, I'm trying to just make it smooth. Make sure that you get in the divots here. All right, nice and sanded, ready to go. All right, now for this next step, what I've got here, my wife is doing some spray painting over here for something unrelated. So I'm gonna move this. You wanna get something, first off, you definitely wanna be outdoors. You wanna get something that you can use that you don't mind getting destroyed, which is gonna be this bad boy. And the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna spray each one. So we're gonna spray it with two different colors. Well, two different things. The first is gonna be this. Now you can use gloss, but I've read that matte is preferred if you're gonna do this. But unfortunately I could not find any purple matte. So we're gonna go with gloss. It doesn't really matter too much in the sense that once since we've cleaned it and everything, we've sanded it, it should stick pretty good. Or this could be a total failure. So we're gonna give it a shot. What you wanna do is shake it up, and when you apply, you wanna do small bits of it. You don't wanna do like, sit there and hold it. We're gonna let that dry for about 25-30 minutes. We'll come back and check it, make sure it's good. All right, it's the following morning, and these look pretty good. I like it. Next, we're gonna put some of this on. This is Clear Coat, Gloss Clear, seals, protects, and revitalizes. Rust-Oleum brand. What I did was I waited for these for 24 hours. So now we're gonna put some of this on. All right, and now we wait. All right, now as you can see, this is the finished product. This is after the clear coat set. I'm gonna be honest, not a great job by me, truth be told. You probably can kind of see it, but there's some bits right here that basically what happened was I applied too much and it didn't dry properly. So what you can always do if this does happen to you, where you have like this like crackling effect, you can sand it back down and then redo it. just basically redo what you were trying to do. But I'm going to be honest, overall, I think it came out pretty good. The big focus is this right here, and this looks pretty good. This one I actually think I did a little bit better. I don't know what happened here. There's like a little divot. So I don't know if like something got scratched on the way from, the outside. You can't really see it though, but this is gonna get covered up anyways, and you're gonna see the effects of that in just a minute. But for now, let's go ahead and put this thing back together. So to do that, we're gonna have to get all the parts back out. Now, one thing I wanted to mention real quick. When it comes to the buttons, they have a very specific layout. You can't just pop any button in any slot. And the reason for that is these should fit really loose. And the way that you do that is you have to line up the diagonals with the spots that they go in. It's kind of hard to see at this angle. But you'll know as soon as you pop them in. If they're loose like this, that's good. If they're stiff, that means you screwed up. And that will make it so that it won't work. Also, when it comes to the buttons, these pads have very specific layouts. There's little holes that these little rubber mats fit into. Make sure that the L button goes on the right hand side of what you're building, and the right button goes on the left because it is reversed. Alright, let's go ahead and screw it back in. Ugh. That feels pretty dang good. Okay, now let's put the overlay on. Alright, here we have our controller, and here is the overlay that I'm going to be putting on. This is a Super Castlevania IV overlay that I got from my buddy Russ Lyman. So this overlay has a plastic covering, a sticky back covering, that we're going to peel off very carefully. It's a good thing my nails are slightly longer than usual. Alright. So, gotta be very, very careful when it comes to putting this on, because you only have one shot. Everything's gotta fit perfect. If you do screw up, do not rip it off. Be very careful. You don't want any air bubbles, so any air bubbles you want to just smooth out. And it should fit perfectly. Look at that. That's so sick. So very sick. That is it, folks. That is my Super NES mod, controller mod. I think that is perfect for this time of the year. Halloween is coming up, so Castlevania is, of course, always on my mind. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll leave a link down below for Russ's channel so you can check out more DIY stuff. And I will also leave a link to his Etsy page if you're interested in buying these. I believe he has an Etsy page for this. Thanks so much for watching. What controllers should I mod next, if any? What thoughts do you have about the controller? Let me know down in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching, and stay tuned for more from the channel.